Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks everybody for being here today to the Clinton Township meeting here. I would like to open with a pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I please have the roll call?
Trustee Grimm?
Here.
Trustee Clark? Not here. Trustee Jesper?
Here.
Ms. Gloster's here. Superintendent of Public Works and Township Administrator.
Here.
Chief of Fire.
Here.
Chief of Police.
Here.
Our next meeting is going to be November 12th, 2024 at 3820 Cleveland Avenue at 6 p.m. And I would like to make a motion to accept the agenda of flexibility. Second.
Trustee Jesper?
Yes.
Trustee Grimm?
Yes. And I will move it over to the fiscal officer.
And as a reminder, we know in the room, but we won't be having the second meeting in November or the second one in December. So 2 meetings left this year. I apologize I wasn't at the last meeting. It's the first meeting I've missed in 11 years, regular session. So I brought the 25 appropriations. They're ready for approval. I printed up some agenda items. I first request transfer $354,996 from the general fund to the Case Road Area Stormwater Improvements Fund.
You want to go over, is this for appropriations?
This is something we should have done a while ago.
Okay, 'cause it's not on here.
Correct. I printed up my agenda items right here.
I would like to wait before I can go through the appropriations, because if you sent this out earlier today, I haven't had a chance to look at it.
The transfer from the general fund to the Case Road Area Stormwater Improvement is something we should have done. We received the grant. Nothing has changed in the drafts that you've had for, I think, 6 weeks. So all of these items need passed, and a reminder to you about our Records Commission meeting that needs to happen this year. Do you want to explain why we need to transfer monies to a Case Road fund? Transfer monies from the general fund to the Case Area Stormwater Improvements Fund.
It's for the grant for the Case Road Stormwater Area, stormwater improvements that's being designed right now. It's a grant that we got approved through OPWC. We need to have that funds appropriated when we accepted the grant. It should have, like I said, Deb said it should already been done.
So does this reflect on the 24 appropriations or the 25 appropriations?
Fair question. I think it would be just the 25. We're not planning on spending that money this year.
It's be appropriated in 24, that would be carried over.
Yeah, we need to make that fund alive this year. So we're not planning on spending the money this year, but we need to wake that fund up, similar to when the fire chief got a staffing grant. That's another, we need to create these funds, but we're not planning on spending any of those monies in 24. When we get large grants, a $500 grant's not a big deal, but when we get a large grant, it needs to create its own fund for those monies to be spent out of. We're not doing the Case Road Storm project this year, not able to do the staffing grant this year, but we need to create those funds, so when those monies do leave, that they can be coming out of the right fund.
So the money will be appropriated in 24, encumbered through 25.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So moved.
Second.
All right, and this was for the transfer from the general fund to the Case Road. $355,000, so. Trustee Jesperger?
Do you have a line item number?
It,
Or
it's-
do you have?
no, it's not a line item either. Fair questions, but it's just taking monies, like, it does seem weird, but it's gonna come out of the transfers out line item, which is already there.
Usually the line item is listed.
It's a transfer of monies from one fund to another, so it's not really spending money, but monies always come out of one place of the general fund. No other fund gives to another fund. So I think it will go, but if not, because the transfers out has 1.7 million in it. So I think that will cover it.
But I don't understand why the fund doesn't have a line item.
What fund?
We're transferring from the general fund to the Case Road Area Storm Water Improvements Fund. They usually have a line item.
Well, the stormwater fund doesn't exist yet, and the transfers out always comes out of the last line.
So if it doesn't exist yet, then how can we transfer it? Don't you have to
give me
create it
permission to
before you
create-
transfer it?
No, you have to give me permission to make the fund, and then I'm not taking money out of that fund. Money from the general fund goes into the Case Road Area Stormwater Improvements Fund. And then next year, when the construction happens, we'll pay the bills.
Then shouldn't we vote to create the fund before we can transfer into it?
I'm just asking to create the fund.
That says transfer this amount of money into the fund. It doesn't say create the fund. I'm confused.
Is this where we talk about maybe going to PWC fund? So it would fall into that?
Then we're just asking for permission to create. I have to look at my September fiscal reports. Maybe we already made the fund and we just need to transfer the monies out. This has to be done. It has to be done before, we have to transfer all of these before we do the 25 appropriations.
So on the, page 4 of the long document you gave, the third box.
Correct.
Case Road area.
But this is
Is-
the 2025 appropriations.
Hold on, just let her finish her question.
So is this the 25 appropriations? So the money that we're talking about transferring with the 24 is going to that capital outlay line item? The 2907, 760, 790.
Yeah, that's the total cost of the grant, so it should fall into this line item.
Yes, it will fall into that line item. And I don't know if this is reflecting in addition to, I think this isn't.
This is the
the
total
whole
project. That's the
Yeah,
total
this is the township
Total grant.
share. So
Right.
this is,
within this.
this $355,000 that I'm asking to transfer from the general fund into the Case Road Fund, that 1.1 million isn't there without that transfer coming from the general fund.
So it looks like it's 29077607900000.
That's the only line item in that fund. We don't need to say where the money lands, other than the fund. I'm just asking to take money out of the general fund and put it in that fund. We're not spending any monies, just moving monies from the general to that Case Road Area Stormwater
It was
Improvements Fund.
created in September.
Yeah, we made that fund in
did create it in
September.
September?
Yeah, it was created in September, Brian just showed me.
Okay.
So this is to make that a reality. That 1.1 million isn't there without this transfer happening. It's all in the paperwork of when the grant gets approved. The township share is almost always a transfer out of the general fund into the new grant you got.
So then the 355 is what makes the,
1.1
Yeah.
million. It is part of that 1.1 million.
That's our portion of the 1.1 million.
Correct. Yeah.
Plus with the more for the loan process, which will come, that's in the 25 appropriations, 26 appropriations, and 27, that's at $50,000 payment.
Yeah, I think we were talking about, these are things that we can take up to 10 years to pay back, but we're not talking about what we're gonna pay back yet. This is just to spend the money on the project.
This is our upfront share.
That makes sense.
Okay. So. So the Jessica Dixberger's roll call.
Yes.
Trustee Grimm.
Yes.
Resolution to create, and this doesn't need to be a resolution, to create fund number 2908 FEMA, not R, FEMA Fire and EMS Staffing Grant.
So moved.
Second. And this is the safer grant.
Correct.
Which is also listed on page 4, but doesn't exist yet. So trustee Jeffsberger,
Yes.
trustee Grimm.
Yes.
And then my last item is approval of, second to last, approval of the 2025 appropriations.
I'd like to wait on those since we just got them today. I haven't had a chance to look at them.
Okay, motion to amend the 24 appropriations by the following.
It says a resolution. Does it have to be a resolution or a motion?
It's always a resolution. A resolution to amend the 2024 appropriations by the following, adding 8.6 thousand to the ARPA capital fund, adding 8,000 to a police Medicare fund, subtracting 8,000 from a police salaries line, adding 20,000 to professional technical services, adding 5,000 to a staffing line, and adding 5,000 to a staffing line.
Didn't we spend the ARPA funds
Nope,
with the, I thought that's what we were using to buy
we
the,
spent most of it, but there's still some. We have about 12,000 left over.
Yeah.
and that has been in the general fund and then we're moving it into the ARPA capital fund? Like where are you
No,
moving the
it's
fund
not
from?
coming out of the, we never appropriated it. You can't spend it till it's appropriated.
There was so much we didn't appropriate for the sidewalk project on Elmore. We didn't appropriate everything for that project. That project's completed. Now we have a balance left from that project plus a balance left that has not been appropriated that we need to earmark it for something by the end of the year. Like I said, last meeting, we did $7,500 for the recycling totes.
Yeah.
So we'll get that done out of that 11,000 and change, then we'll have to figure out where to spend the rest of that money.
So is that part of the 8,600 or what are we appropriating this for?
That is part of the 86. That money was there, we could have appropriated it for the construction project, but it didn't need to be spent on that. So now that the construction project's over, we can't spend any money unless it's appropriated. So we'd like to appropriate what's left over in that fund. And we've been talking with the township administrator how to get that obligated. It doesn't necessarily need to be spent, but before this year is over, we want to say what we're doing with the rest of our 12,000. So at the meeting I missed, you spent 7,500 on recycle totes, and then we have something like 2,000 or 3,000 left that will not be hard to find. Whatever we want to spend it on.
So why aren't we appropriating the full 12,000? Why are we only
Some money's already there. This is just what's left over.
Some of it's already been, was appropriated already.
You never know to the penny what your construction thing is going to cost.
And then for the police Medicare, this is just underfunded, so we're adding more to it. Is that also coming? It's already existing and then we're just amending the appropriation? Okay.
We're doing a hopscotch there. His fund overall isn't changing, we're just moving within lines.
What's the 20,000 for professional and technical services that we're appropriating?
Additional money is needed for this, building inspections, lawyer fees, a lot of things come out of that line. If you look at the September fiscal report, if something appropriated is close to zero and we still got 2.5 months, 3 months left in the year, that's what you'll need to get through the year. The last two items, we pay more than 2 people. We pay 2 people out of the administrator's staff line, so now to make up for that. And the last one's my assistant.
Because we under appropriated the cost?
When we started paying Cassidy 25% out of this fund, we never upped that fund. Before then, only one person was paid out of that bucket. not giving anybody any raises, it's just to finish this year.
And the 5,000 would get us through the end of the year.
Yes, it's more than you need to get through the end of the year, but it's something like you need more than 2, probably 4.5, but
Am I missing something? Sorry.
I don't know, I'm waiting if we're gonna approve this or not.
Did we put a motion on the floor?
I think so. And then I had to rattle off a lot of numbers. So I guess looking for a second.
Second?
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, trustee Jessberger,
Yes.
trustee Glenn.
Yes.
And you said you wanted to wait on the appropriations, Rebecca? All right. That's all I have.
So the last thing?
That's for me.
You don't
She already
need
said
to
it.
approve bills or payroll?
We did that I believe you guys did that at the previous meeting. I wasn't here. Did you approve the September report and do the bills and payroll?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll check it out on the YouTube later.
Was that done the last time we do that?
That's what we just said, yes.
I remember reading the,
Yeah, you did,
Report,
she did the reading of your report,
Wow.
and then we all passed it.
Yeah.
okay.
Well,
Excellent.
Rick, get back to
Yeah.
that.
Sorry, I didn't know I wasn't gonna be at that meeting until 5 o'clock, so.
I didn't remember if we approved the bills and payroll, though, that was.
We
We did.
I
We
meant
did,
to-
I-
Yeah, we
I
did
got-
it down.
I got the notes.
He wouldn't have written it down if he
I
didn't.
didn't bring it with me today, so I can't remember.
We did.
We already took care of those, all right.
Can we go on to committee team reports, starting with the Community Health Action Team?
Alright, so for the chat report, at the last produce market, we had 10,000 pounds of produce, which was distributed to 515 individuals. Our next produce market is this Friday, 4 to 6. Same location, 3820 Cleveland Avenue, drive-through style.
Thank you.
We'll load up your vehicle with the produce. We had our third family movie night last Friday at 3820, and it was absolutely amazing. We had a ton of people there, and the 2 crafts that we agreed to do with chat, the kids absolutely loved the sensory jars, or the sensory glittery jars is what I called them, and then the stress balls, but it was a clear balloon, and then we had the kids pick whatever color of Play-Doh that they wanted, and they stuffed it, and then we tied it, and then it made like a fun stress ball, which does relate to the feelings and emotions with Inside Out too. And it was, it was a great movie. I cried in 3 different spots, like I always do when I watch that movie. All the adults seem to love it. And I really look forward to being able to do more family movie nights in the future.
On the beautification report, last meeting, we had a wonderful meeting, and we were able to award one of our residents with their award for their first place award. Have we been able to get in touch with the other 3?
The other folks showed an interest in coming to the meeting at 3820 in November. And then I'll be circling back around just to follow up and remind them so they can get their award and certificate.
Do a second round
Yeah.
of presentations. That was really stressful for me like
Aw.
last time, but I think I went over well. And so yeah, super excited that's continuing Can't wait to roll it out next year, starting in January. We're gonna start, highlighting every single month one of the different people, and then of course just trying to continue and grow the competition for future years. So I'm excited. I wanted to revisit the budget work group. Unfortunately, the person in charge of the budget work group is not here. I was hoping for next year, instead of having a budget work group, I feel like that information is equally important, that it should be distributed to all trustees. So originally I had thought that the second meeting in February would just be specifically about the budget, and we could have a quarterly budget meeting. So I kind of wanted to open the floor and talk about that. But it was also brought to my attention that originally, when they created the budget committee, when the previous Trustee Caniglio started the budget work group, what he wanted was a quarterly review, just to see how the previous quarter did, so that if any adjustments needed to be made for that quarter, it was better to do that the first month. So instead of we would have our traditional first meeting, and then the second meeting would just be a budget meeting, so we could go over the budget, talk about how we did last year, and then see if any changes needed to be done for the quarter. And then the second week in April, that would be the discussion. So we would just have one of our quarterly meetings would just be devoted to talking about the budget on 4 times a year.
Are you talking about having additional meetings?
No, it would just
So
be
we're-
replacing the second meeting of our regular meetings.
So it would be taking up more time in these regular session meetings to talk about the budget.
It would just be eliminating the regular session and just talking about the budget. And then if anything needed to be passed, we could obviously pass it, but
I guess I would shy against eliminating a regular session meeting, because that makes your resolution in January and when your regular session meetings are very complicated. I'm always open to talking about the budget, or the numbers. You brought back the budget working group after it was not supported by the previous board. Now you don't want there to be a budget working group. Either way, we can take up as much time as we need in these regular session meetings to talk about the budget. And either way, I'll invite residents to talk about our numbers, whether or not there's an official working group that the board supports or doesn't support. The last meeting that I wasn't able to attend, I think was less than an hour. We had 2 new residents attend, and I think it was helpful to have everybody look at the appropriations. So the way we've organized it this year is the budget working group meets 3 times, which we've met 3 times this year. Spring, drafting the budget, and then looking at appropriations at the end of the year. Whatever the board would like to do, I'll support. But I'll also continue to encourage residents to come look and talk about the numbers.
I just think it would make it more important if it's an official part of our quarterly.
We will do it. I'm not against it. Sounds good.
I'm not trying to pass anything, or we can pass if we want to. I'm just bringing it up again because I think it is important, and I think that all the trustees should be a part of the conversation. It kind of makes it difficult when you're having meetings with one person, and then at least everybody can get the same information at the same time, and then everybody can be on the same page. And I just think that it would add value if we elevated the importance of the budget working group and made it a part of our quarterly activities. That's just me.
That's gonna make a really long meeting. If you do it as a part of a regular meeting, by the time you get done with your regular stuff and then do the budget stuff and all, that's gonna be a very long meeting.
Well, we wouldn't do regular stuff. That would just
Oh,
be
would we
talking
just-
about,
Or limited.
yeah, or limit the amount of stuff that would be talked about as regular stuff,
Uh-huh.
and it would just be about the budget.
Okay.
We always get rid of meetings and then we bring them back and we have all of these specials, and it's just really makes things complicated. Because we go down to 1 meeting in the summer and then we have to have 8 special meetings because things can't get passed. It would just be nice if we had a little bit more regulation in the way that we do things. And people have complained about the fact that we have all of these specials, especially during the summer, because we go down to one meeting. Like, I think it would just be nice if we had the set schedule at the beginning of the year in January, and then tried not to change things throughout the year like we've been doing.
And just remember, you're gonna really put a whole lot of pressure on everybody to make sure you get everything you need to do at that first meeting. If you're gonna do the second meeting strictly with the budget, everything else has gotta be done at that first meeting.
Right.
And people are really gonna be under the gun to make sure everything they need to do is done, and then that first meeting is gonna be long.
The second meeting in January, I may not be ready to talk about 24's numbers. I have till the end of February to close last year's numbers. We probably will be done, but I can't guarantee that by the third week in January, we can pour over the 24 numbers. I will get that done by the end of February. We usually get it done in January, but
So I think in a perfect world, we would be able to have these committees and these work groups, and things just kind of flow, and things just kind of function well. And, you know, like I think about the chat, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like there's not ever been any concerns or problems with chat and like what chat does. And maybe that's just because, I don't wanna say it's fun, like it's not, you know, but like it's a fun thing. Like we provide for our residents, we provide for the community. So like in a perfect world, this would still work out that potentially each trustee would just select the work group or the committee. I do believe that with the budget being such a hot topic and like a sensitive subject, especially like with this year, that it does make more sense for at least the trustees to hear everything at the same time. Like I think I hear your frustration, but I also hear where Trustee Grant is coming from. And it is unfortunate because Trustee Clark is not here to be able to, you know, hear his opinion and what he thinks. I think ultimately it just needs to come down to whatever is going to make everyday operations tolerable and bearable, and just making sure that we are all on the same page. Because we're not.
sure. I don't think we'll figure that out with a policy. We're trying. And we can devote more time during these regular session meetings before we're passing the budget in July to look what the draft of the budget looks like. By April or May, we'll have a nice draft of the budget. You're not legally required to pass it till July. We passed it in June this year. So the budget working group this year met 3 times. We were pretty comfortable with that. It rotates every year. I've never had the same board person do it 2 years in a row. And it's fine if some trustees are really good at one particular committee or working group and they want to stay on it. That's a board decision every year. So I think we've had a good discussion about it tonight. We're not making any decisions. The working group has never made a decision. We do issue meeting minutes every time we've met. So I've shared a draft that Melissa typed up. It's very simple because it's only 45 minutes, and I've shared that with the fellows who were there before I shared with the whole board. I did that with the meeting in May, so we're going to do that with this one in October, and then we'll just figure this out next year. But that's fair to say it's an important topic. The budget's just getting tighter, news to everybody, so that's why everybody wants to spend more time looking at it, and that makes sense.
And just so make sure I understand, you're talking about just 4 of the regular trustee meetings, second meetings being eliminated and doing the budget just 4 times.
Correct.
Otherwise, the other months you'll still have the 2 regular trustee
Yes.
meetings. Okay.
Are those additional meetings though? No, okay.
Just replacing the existing ones.
All right,
Will we still keep them as regular meetings, but just know that
The agenda
the
is going
agenda
to
is going to
be
be, the main
budget.
agenda is going to be budget.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That way, I think that would be
Yeah.
best, that way, if we need something on there, we have them.
staffing,
We have it on there.
in my vision, I see like passing, like anything like appropriations or whatever, you know, each department head would talk about their specific fund, the changes, where they're sitting, what that looks like. Doing the nice projector thing, I love it when we do the projector thing so that everybody's looking at the same thing at the same time. Just kind of like the way that we've been doing that. But then just having it during a regular meeting and then elevating the importance of the budget, not just to one specific trustee member, but making sure that all trustees are on the same page at the same time. And then not having to create additional meetings that people have to go to because it could just be a part of what we already do on a regular basis. But it is important, it's an important topic, people need to be on top of it, we need to know where we are when we're making decisions, and just being a little bit more publicized about it, I think would be good.
okay.
Well, thank you for that discussion, I appreciate it. Let's go ahead and move on to the administration.
Okay, Lane, the number one we have there, that's a carryover from the last meeting. Deborah brought to my attention, she'd like to discuss the letters to Santa, holiday decoration contest, and front door area decorations a little further. She wasn't clear on what was talked about at the last meeting.
Well, it's my understanding, we had $500 in the budget for just the decorations, correct?
That's what we asked for the decorations out front for the.
Okay, for
so
both
that'd be
buildings.
For the door. But you want to talk about the letters?
And then we were going to move forward with the letters to Santa and the holiday home decorating contest again.
Similar to last year. And the board was
Okay.
fine.
That's it. Thank you.
And third item, well, second item, we got the Veterans Day ceremony, November 11th, 10:45 a.m. in Veterans Park. And I believe we will have,
Yeah, it's actually going to be on Veterans Day. Wasn't sure if we was going to get an honor guard because we were fortunate the past 2 years to get the honor guard for the flag ceremony, rifle ceremony for both years because veterans, the ceremony that we had didn't fall on the actual day of Veterans Day. So in short, we got the Ohio State University, ROTC, Honor Guard coming that day, so I'm super excited. So it'll be fun. So again, we're looking forward to having a turnout representation from all departments as much as possible. And then also what I'm trying to do is get a push out this week or next week information for local veterans or anybody who is related to a local veteran or knows of a local veteran to that we can honor or they can speak, either one or both, at the ceremony. And then also advertise the fact that we do have the veterans bricks. In fact, I had a gentleman come in the other day who wanted to pay cash, and then I told him what the process looked like with respect to ordering the veterans bricks. Told him I'd check out the cash part because he kind of balked when I said, you know, write a check and this is, you know, how it works. And then we have so many that we have to submit an order for. So I need to circle back around on that so we can get the orders that's been kind of in the kitty, so to speak, so we could get enough to where we can pull that trigger and get those orders generated and sent and those bricks installed. And the gentleman even offered to, he allegedly has some engraving skills himself, and he even offered, like, what if I even like engrave my own brick? So maybe that's a conversation later. With respect to that.
That
Told
sounds
him
cute.
I'd check it out, I wasn't sure. Or maybe we can talk about it now since it's literally right around the corner.
I guess my only sense is as long as his font looks the same as the existing, it'd probably be a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
yes. That was my thought process too.
So So I think after last year, or maybe leading up to the ceremony last year, I had asked about the township purchasing bricks for all of our veterans at the
Mhm.
township employees, like Sergeant Burr, Sergeant Reeves. And I wasn't sure if that was something that we could do. And if it's not something that we would do, then I would gladly pick up the cost for that.
How much is it per brick?
We ask for a donation from the public for $50. It doesn't cost us that much individually, and all the costs go to maintaining the park. So I am sure the township could pay to get, if township employees want a brick of their military service, I'm sure that there's a way the township could do that, whether it's individual trustees donating the extra like $37 more, or if we just wanna do it even Steven what it costs. There's a lot of ways to do it.
Well, I think it would be cute if we just said like Clinton Township employee, so-and-so veteran, like if we could, I mean, I don't know if we would wanna do that or not, but that would be cute. I like it. I like the idea.
Do you know how long in the past it's taken to get the bricks? Like, is this something that, like, if we did this, like, this week or probably next week, would we have them in time?
Probably not, unless that local person's an amazing engraver and can do a quick turnaround. Deborah, have you been here since we've done a
I
batch?
have not had, yeah, I've taken orders, but we've not generated, the minimum I think is 5 bricks.
Yeah,
We haven't gotten up to 5 so we could get the order, so again, I circle back around to the people who's already paid the $50 and had to tell them, you know, we're still waiting for more orders.
okay.
And even if the gentleman does do the engraving, where do we get the bricks? Just buy a brick at
No, you get
Lowe's?
them right out of you can take it out of work with him, but you take it out of the existing brick, take it to this fellow, he can engrave it, that's great.
I was gonna say I have a bunch of extras in the back.
No, this kind of, it needs to be uniform so they fit back together.
I got
But
some
give
in
me
my
your
backyard
Atkins
too.
blocks and your
I
Nelson
have too many, I
block.
wanna get rid of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's, you know, pieces and parts that I'm not familiar with.
We'll talk amongst
Okay.
ourselves. I don't think we're gonna get new ones printed by November 11th, but we could try.
Did
Doesn't
we
hurt
do
to
Walt
try.
already?
What?
Walt Smith?
I don't know. We have like a dozen maybe out of maybe 350 bricks.
Cause we had talked about getting Walt done.
My dad's there, all I know.
So yeah, we'll touch base on that, and if we can get a brick and the gentleman who I spoke to the other day can engrave, maybe we can go that route.
That'd be
Just
That'd be
saying.
great if we can, and
Okay,
I'm
put a
pretty
strat-
sure, I'll vet it, but I'm pretty sure we're allowed to take what people have donated so far to pay this fella something modest to engrave them, or he might donate it.
Okay,
We'll
all
figure
right,
that
so
out.
we'll talk,
Yeah.
we'll discuss amongst ourselves. Okay, great. Okay,
Jill,
thank you.
we have a tree for Walt, don't we?
Sorry?
For Walt Smith, don't we have a tree
For who?
for Walt Smith?
Yes, we do have a tree for, actually,
Walt and Penny?
yeah. We have one for Walter Smith, and as a matter of fact, we were talking about a tree, we're talking about maybe trying to do something about getting Peeny's name on there with him.
Yeah.
But we've never done anything about it. We talked about it, we've never done anything about it.
I get confused between what the UBCA can do with things like this and what the township can do, or
Right.
we can do things together. So maybe UBCA can
Yeah.
help us get something done.
I'll send you an email to add Walt to the list. I want to make sure he's there.
Okay, next I have, Swaco's reached out to the municipalities talking about a yard sign event where we collect the campaign signs after election. This year, I put together with Deborah that we're gonna do a collection of them yard signs at both locations on November 9th from 9 till noon at both township locations. And what we do, just bring them as a whole, we'll just drop them off, we'll pile them here, then when Monday comes around, we'll start separating them and take that into recycling.
Take out the metal that can be
Yes,
recycled. And
yes.
Yeah. It's a good thing to do.
Next, I have request a motion to approve Clinton Township use of uniform guidance for the management of federal grants.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Jesberger?
Yes.
Trustee Graham?
Can you just kind of give a little bit more information before I say yes?
This is a pretty open policy, what I sent to the board. This will get us in compliance with the auditors. Right now, we kind of tackle this on an individual basis per grant, but this will kind of be a policy that the township adopts, and will have it for auditing purposes.
Yes.
Next, I have request motion to accept the updated verbiage of the employee handbook, section 3.4, compensatory time for employees. I
So-
sent,
Oh, so moved.
Second.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
discussion, I sent a copy of it out to the board to review. Also had Julie review it. And this addresses some of the issues in the handbook that we've had in the past with comp time for the employees. And
This
what,
is the non-contractual employees.
yeah, and this takes care of how, since we don't carry over from year to year, what do we do with that balance? We can't just take it away from the employees because they earned it. This gives an avenue of how we handle that at the end of the year. You pay them out, similar to the other departments, then you start fresh again. That way somebody's not earning 20 hours at $18 an hour, then they save it for 2 years when they're making $30 an hour, whatever, and it's paying out of the higher cost.
Okay, ready for the roll call? Trustee Jesberger?
Yes.
Trustee Graham?
Yes. Chief Ridley?
I
Oh.
have no.
Never mind.
And one more thing that's not on there, just remind everybody about election days, November 5th.
Everybody should go
Thanks,
vote.
Dave.
Everybody should vote.
I already did.
Already voted.
Good job.
We have no new business for the board tonight.
Chief Jones?
Yes, first motion I have is to request a motion to surplus or trade with the dealership, the 2019 Ford Transit van, last four of the van 8795, and that's for future cruiser purchase.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Jesberger?
Yes.
Trustee Graham?
Yes.
And then I'd like to request a resolution to hire Daniel Fisher as a part-time police officer pending physical and drug screen.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Jesberger?
Yes.
Trustee Graham?
Yes.
And just a reminder, trick or treat will be the 31st in the township, and we will have officers out on both sides of the township.
Handing out candy this year?
We're gonna have to see, it's very, very expensive this year, but more than likely. we will.
I can make some popcorn balls.
It's gotta be wrapped stuff down, we can't do that for sure.
We can't be that nice.
Did you throw it?
I will
You can
eat
make
your
them for
popcorn
me.
balls if you make them though.
I don't know what's more exciting, trick or treating or voting.
Really? I think
Really?
the answer to that
That's
question.
all awesome.
You'll never know what you're gonna get.
That's true. That's true. We're gonna have to wait to find out what we're all getting.
Ah.
It'll be candy for everyone. Don't have to wait for Christmas.
Anything else, Chief?
Yeah, that's all I have, thank you.
All right, we can go ahead and move back to Dave.
Yeah, request a motion to surplus the Meyer Cross conveyor dump truck spreader that the Public Works Department has.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Jesberger?
Yes.
Trustee Graham?
So this is,
Trustee Graham, yes?
can
Oh,
I
I'm
discuss
sorry,
it
you're,
first?
sorry, you're talking. Go on.
So this is something that was purchased in 2018.
Correct.
And it's actually never been used, so one of the other local governments is requesting to purchase it from us. So that is why it's a motion, and I say yes.
Next, I have request a motion to sell the Meyer Cross conveyor dump truck spreader to Hopewell Township in Lincoln County for $5,000.
So moved?
Second.
Trustee Jesberger?
Yes.
Trustee Graham?
Yes. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Appreciations?
I would like to appreciate our fire department and our police department, for being in attendance at the London Anti-Violence Walk last night that happened in our township. It was a decent turnout. We're hoping that there'll be more people next Monday, which will be the final walk of the season. And it will also be a more, I don't know, like a formal food event at the end of the walk and like an awards ceremony. And it was good. We were able to pass out, my coworker passed out 20 lock boxes, the extra large lock boxes, part of Mayor Ginther's strategic initiative to help combat violence in the community. And we had, I think, like 2 people join us from some of the apartments on Cleveland Avenue, like they started walking with us. And we had at least 1 resident walk with us, which was really cool. And it was a great time. And so it'll be again next Monday, 6 to 8 p.m. at 3820 in the big parking lot in the front. And hopefully we'll be able to have fire and police there again. Yeah. It was good.
Did anybody get any pics?
I did.
Will you send them to me? Thanks, and then I'll promote for the next Monday so we can bolster that.
Where are people walking to?
So last night we walked from Town Hall down to Elmore and then did like a U-turn in the street and then went back up Cleveland. Last year we did Cleveland to,
Elmore and then back to Brandon, and came in the back of the fire station.
yeah.
So,
And I don't know what we'll do on Monday. But it is supposed to be good weather is what I'm being told again.
Is that gonna be posted on Facebook?
Yeah, we already got it on Facebook and on our website. It's on our calendar and our news.
And that's a like North Linden-based group?
So that's with Listen Good Youth, which is Derek Russell, and We Are Linden, which is Ralph Carter.
I remember that We Are Linden from a few years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe we need the names later when I type up the meeting minutes.
What's Ralph's organization called again?
Ralph's is We Are Linden.
I thought that was Derek's.
Derek is
Okay.
Listen Good Youth,
Listen Good Youth.
I believe
Yeah.
so.
We just gotta tell the kids to be good. Give them a listen.
And they did read the stats for the city of Columbus, which I know is in the township, but we are at, before some stuff happened yesterday, we were at, I think, 92 or 93 homicides for the year, which is down compared to last year. At the same time, I believe we were at like 123. So whatever we're doing is working, and we just gotta keep doing it. So
And this is all of Columbus, or?
it's focused all of Columbus, but the walks are specifically Linden. And
But
there
the
is,
numbers you gave are all
It's-
Columbus?
yeah,
Those are
it's-
specifically Columbus Police.
Okay.
So our numbers differ from theirs. Franklin County has numbers, and municipalities around Columbus.
So that wouldn't include a Burlington, that wouldn't include, but it would include Worthington.
no,
No, Worthington is a
Its own
separate.
city.
I always thought,
no, the only thing that Worthington does is they operate with Columbus Public Health with me. But they have their own fire and police, but they use the city health department. I'm not sure
Wow.
exactly why.
Municipality spaghetti.
I would like to thank Trustee Jessberger and Trustee Grimm for their help at movie night. Amazing activities you came up with for the kids, big hits, and obviously your translation services were amazing. So thank you very much for helping out.
the little Hispanic kids were so cute. I loved them. And also, non-Hispanic kids are cute as well.
Almost.
That came out really wrong.
It's all right.
I'm sorry.
It's nice that they can communicate with you or their parents. Maybe they're fluent in English, but their parents.
Some of the parents really appreciated being able to talk to me too. It was nice.
It's good.
And they're also very sweet and nice and kind. As are the other parents. All parents
Everybody's
in
good.
this township is amazing. I love everybody. Anything else?
Okay, UVCA has 2 parties coming up. This coming Sunday, we're doing a kids' Halloween party for 8 and under at the playground. And we're gonna have candy and breakfast bars and fruit snacks and lemonade and water. There's something else. I forget, something else I left out.
Cookies.
Huh?
Cookies.
Cookies, that was it.
Good thing
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
here,
yeah, yeah. And we're gonna have a costume contest for the scariest, the funniest, and the best looking. I'm gonna donate cash prizes for those 3 things. And anybody and everybody is welcome to come and see what's going on.
What about the
Then
chili
we are also
competition?
going to have our after trick or treat Halloween party, which we haven't had for a couple of years, where we have the chili contest and all. And that will be right after trick or treat, the night of Halloween, down at the playground in the blockhouse. And we'll have our usual hot dogs and donuts and hot chocolate and hot and cold cider. And what else do we have, Carol? I can't remember.
Chili.
The chili contest. We
And
can use
ghouls.
judges for the chili contest if any of the police or fire guys want to be judges. I'm not going to be there, so Carol's the one that's going to have to take charge that night. But if any of you, the police or fire want to be judges, we
Yeah,
appreciate it.
like I said, we'll have probably 2 or 3 parts over there. Those guys over there.
So that'll start right after trick or treat and usually goes till about 9 to 9:30, somewhere like that, and then it ends. And hopefully we can get some help cleaning up this year. One of my residents donated $50 for any teenagers that would like to help clean up after that party that night. So, anyway, that's all I have about over here.
Do you have a flyer for the kids' party this Sunday, or for the 27th?
Do I have what?
A flyer?
Yeah, I donated it. I sent it to you by an email.
Okay.
And tomorrow, Dave and I are gonna drive around to all the houses that have little kids, and I'm gonna drop a flyer off at those
And you said
houses.
it's 8 and under for
8
that?
and under, yeah.
Okay.
And so we're
For the
gonna,
costume party or for the party in general?
pardon?
For the costume contest or for the party in
For
general?
the party and all, yeah.
Okay.
Bobby, does Dave have those sandwich signs?
I'm sorry, what?
Does David have the sandwich signs? We should get those out. At the triangle.
There's the one out there, and there should be another one in here.
You got it.
There should be 2 in here, and there is one in the blockhouse.
Okay, well, we should get those out and post them at different.
Right.
You know, for people that are not gonna get a flyer.
Right. Yeah, well, I don't care about this weekend. I mean, I don't care about everybody this weekend. I only care about the ones that really have kids. Anybody else is welcome to come, but I'm more concerned about the people with kids. But you're right, for the one after trick or treat, we need to make sure the sandwich signs are out. I'll look, I think I've still got some of the Halloween signs that I used to post. I'll see if I can find those. I'll try to get some of those up before I leave, like maybe this weekend, so that they're up before the party next week.
When are you leaving?
I'm leaving on Halloween. I leave that afternoon.
Okay.
Would you guys mind if I close out the meeting first? Anyone else for appreciations? Public announcements, anything else? Going once? Going twice? Meeting's adjourned.
Okay.
Bye. Do we have a second? Do we have a second? No?
She said bye. Felt like yeah.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I don't have a pen down.